Let's talk about hollow candlestick charts on TradingView. And as you can see right from the start here, we have hollow candles selected from our chart type menu. And that means on the chart, we can see four different types of candles. We have green hollow candles. We also have green filled in candles. We also have red filled in candles. And we have red hollow candles. So right off the bat, hollow candlestick charts show you more information, and it is visual to you based off of the color, green or red, and then whether it's hollow or filled in. Now let us quickly take you to a candlestick chart because I want to make sure you see the sheer difference. First of all, a candlestick chart, as you know, on our YouTube channel, I've recorded a few videos walking you through how candlestick charts work. And also the TradingView team has a help center that has plenty of information and examples of candlestick charts, so be sure to check that out if you want more. But at its core, a candlestick chart is filled in green if it's higher, and it's filled in red if it's lower. A hollow candlestick chart is going to add in a little bit more detail to that, and so you have to pay pretty close attention. Let us just show you one example in this chart right here. We're going to focus on this green filled in candlestick. So on a hollow candlestick chart, it's filled in green, but on a regular candlestick chart, it's filled in red. So this should start to show you some of the differences between these chart types. So you're really going to have to think differently, especially if you have used candlestick charts for a long time. Now this candlestick is filled in green because it is higher than yesterday's close. So we can see that this candlestick is hollow green. And if we hover our mouse over it, we can see that the open, also you can follow along, open, high, low, close, follow the key numbers there. The close is $177 per share. Sorry, the open was $171 per share. The close was $177 per share. So it's a green candle. It opened down here and it closed up here. It went up throughout the day. So naturally it's going to be green. But more importantly, it's hollow because of one more condition. It's higher than yesterday's candle. So hollow candlesticks don't just look at the open and close, they also look at yesterday's price action and then keep it hollow or fill it in. So if you hover your mouse over this filled in green candlestick, you can see that the open was $188 per share, so way up here. But the close was down here at $182 per share. So it actually went down throughout the day, but it's still filled in green because look at yesterday's candle. It is higher. So even though it had a down day, it's still higher than yesterday, and it's going to remain green, and it's going to be filled in to demonstrate that, you know what? It was still higher than yesterday's close, but we're going to fill it in green because it's lower than the open. So you really have to work your mind around this concept that's a little bit different than candlestick charts, and it's filled in a different manner. So let's go back to hollow candles. And this should also cue you to something important, which is that hollow green candles are essentially the most bullish candles on this chart. They are the most bullish candle because they are telling you some key pieces of information. First of all, they're telling you that the open was down here and the close is up here. So naturally it's up on the day. But it's hollow because it's also greater than yesterday's price action. So it's really satisfying the key things to mark a bullish day, which is higher than yesterday and higher than the open. Now this one is filled in because even though it's higher than yesterday's open, it's filled in to let you know that it opened at $199 a share and closed at $197 per share. So hopefully you're starting to see how these green candlesticks are formulated. And you're also starting to see that when you see a hollow candlestick, you know it satisfies the most bullish conditions of being higher than the open, higher than yesterday's price action. And when you see a filled in green candlestick, you know to pause for a second. Okay, even though it's higher than yesterday, it potentially went down throughout the day. Now we're looking at a chart of Tesla. We want to point your eyes to that, TSLA. That way you can put some context to this explainer. Tesla recently broke out here, as you can see. And that is an interesting thing to say from the standpoint of this candle we're going to come back to. See this green candle that's filled in green? When you go back to a candlestick chart, you can actually see here that it's a big red candle here, followed by another big red candle. And if we go to bar replay to really go back in time here, let's just print this next candle. There we go. You can see that that might really catch quite a few traders' attention and potentially even have them thinking a bearish event is playing out. Because it seems as if Tesla tried to spike higher here, right? It did. It got up here to 188. But ever since it got that high, it just sold off 2 giant consecutive candles. But you're not seeing the full picture, and this is where hollow candlesticks can be rather helpful. If you turn on hollow candlesticks, you'll be reminded that technically Tesla isn't necessarily red as much as it is just lower on this maybe euphoric open, but it's still above this close here. So maybe not so fast. Let's see what happens. Let's wait a few days. Maybe the bulls still have some strength here. And as you could see earlier in the video, it just so happened to be that this was the move that really showed that the bulls not only could hang in there, but really regained control of Tesla. And the following price action essentially just shows, remember, a hollow green candle is the most bullish candle on this chart type. It shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It shows 8 hollow candles starting from here. And that is where hollow candlesticks can really provide some additional information to traders, in that it's just going to remind you not to maybe panic or think something's happening too fast or to get too excited if you think that this short-term trend is playing out. It's going to remind you that it's filled in green, that it's still higher than yesterday, but it did actually close lower than the open, but still it's higher than yesterday. So anyone who bought here is still theoretically up. And this is where hollow candlesticks can be rather helpful. And we can turn our attention now to the red candles, because now it's going to be slightly different. So first of all, let's examine the red filled in candles. So you can see here, this candlestick is filled in red here. And that is because the open was up here at $185 per share. And the close was down here at $178 per share. So it's obviously a red candle because in this specific session, we're on a daily chart, or so this specific day, the price of Tesla dropped throughout the day, so it's going to be red. But to make matters worse, it's also lower than yesterday's close, so it satisfies all the conditions, it's filled in. Compare that to this red hollow candle here. It opened at $176, so you can see that, but it closed at $177. So this is rather interesting, because technically it had a green day. It was actually up on the day. It opened down here at 176 and it closed up here at 177. But it's a hollow red candle because it's still below yesterday. So you can start to see where the hollow red candles aren't potentially as easy to understand as the hollow green candles. The hollow green candles, as we mentioned, satisfied the fact that it's higher than the open. Open in this candle, see this candle right here, the open was 218, the close was 231, and it's even higher than yesterday, so it's hollow green. It's just the most bullish type of candle that you can get. A hollow red, though, so let's look at another one, is just so fascinating because in this example, see this sort of doji or hammer looking candle? The open was 176.40 and the close was 176.75. So if you go to a regular candlestick chart, that's a green candle. But on a hollow candlestick chart, it's red. And it's red simply because it is not above the previous candle. So you can start to get a feel for the fact that hollow candlestick charts really make a big deal out of whether the trend continued from the previous day or not. And that is going to play a rather big factor in some of these candlesticks. So this is a very important thing to take note of when you are reading hollow candlestick charts. Also, this should open your mind up to a new way of analyzing price action that, compared to regular candlestick charts, is not always just about the open and the close. It's also about yesterday's price action too. And that's where hollow candlestick charts can be of great use. So now you understand hollow green candles, you understand filled in green candles, you understand red filled in candles, and you understand hollow red candles. And what is a rather interesting exercise to embark on is just to go back and forth between candlestick charts and hollow candlestick charts. So let's look at these two candles here. On this day, Tesla on a regular candlestick chart opened at $176 and it closed at $177. Now, all of us would think of that as a green candle is up on the day. But if you go to hollow candles, it's actually a hollow red candle, because even though it closed up on the day, it's still below yesterday's candle. So this is one of the more interesting ways to where you can compare and contrast these candles. It's rather effective to make sure that you're reminding yourself about the open and close, not only of the specific session you're looking at, but the day before as well. So with that being said, we hope that this introduction gets you started with hollow candlestick charts, and that now you see there are more ways to visualize markets than just candlestick charts. And if you wish to learn more about hollow candlestick charts, please watch the other videos in our Help Center about, say, the other chart types like candles, so you can better compare and contrast these chart types, and read our Help Center, because our Help Center has a lot of written material to walk you through this specific chart type as well. So thanks so much for watching, and we hope this video gets you started. Leave any questions or comments below. Have a good one.